Leading groups produce leading stocks, and leading stocks produce leading groups. By systematizing, looking at the ETFs, we can quickly see where there is strength, areas to delve into deeper with stocks, or weakness, areas to avoid. So let's take it from the top. Dow Jones Industrial Average, DDM, this is the leveraged one, trending nicely. What has it been telling us for a while? Hey, you can look at some Dow stocks. That's all. You don't have to overthink it. There's only 30 stocks. But this has been leading. Tells you to look into them. Continue onwards. First, Trust Dorsey Wright. This is more technology related, and it's acting okay. All right, not too bad. Continue onwards. Gold miners. This is why we do this. In 1 second, it tells us, stay away from the gold miners. They're lagging. There's nothing to do with it. Oh, maybe this is the bottom. Team, and this is for everybody. Please don't play the maybe game. Maybe this will happen. Stack the deck in your favor. Look for the high probability setups. The market's strong. This is weak. Stay away. Gold, same situation. No power there. Leave it alone. Biotechnology is just basing. Okay. Again, weekly on the left, daily on the right. Always be careful with biotechnology stocks. Just tell you this, one news story can tear a stock apart, the price. So just be aware of the risk with biotechnology. I'm not saying don't buy it. I'm just saying be aware of the risk and manage accordingly. Continue onwards. Oil and gas. What does this tell us? Here's the weekly. Here's the daily. It's lagging. Avoid oil and gas. Software technology. Look at this. Looking pretty good here on the weekly and the daily. And it has for a while. I mean, look at the weekly chart back here. It's been telling us, hey, look, this is why we've owned some major software stocks. We've owned Microsoft for a while. All right. It's been working. Leaders. Focus on leaders. Medicine, hanging in okay. Not bad. Looking at some medicine stocks. Mid cap. You can always see the name up here, by the way, folks. Okay, just to give you the heads up. Mid cap doesn't look too bad. It's basing right here. It hasn't pushed recently, but it looks okay. It's a nice base. Maybe looking at some mid cap stocks. Aerospace and defense, it's all right. Not as strong as others, but it's okay. Home construction, that's hanging in okay too. All right, but it needs to show some power. Also, remember this, interest rates have a direct impact on home building companies, home building stocks, and it gapped down on heavy volume a little over a week ago. Be aware of that. Not a lot of strength still, so just be cognizant of that. Got a bad data point right here. I'm going to edit the low on this really quick, just for this video. There we go. S&P 500 growth. Look at the trend. Trend on the weekly, trend on the daily. It's been telling us, hey, look at some growth stocks, and that's why we've owned some growth stocks for a while. That's it. You don't have to overthink it. And then find the leading stocks and go for it. Small caps still lagging. I mean, look at this. Oh, this is trending up nicely. Small caps not participating yet. Maybe it will, but right now, there's just not much happening there. Retail, real estate, lagging, stay away. I mean, look at this, folks. Falls on heavy volume, goes up on decent volume, falls on heavy volume. Be careful with real estate. Transportation's hanging in okay. Look at the base on the weekly and the daily. IYT, that doesn't look too bad. You could say, hey, maybe if this pushes through this top here with volume, this could be a breakout buy, or maybe looking at some transportation stocks. And here's a great tactic for all of you that many don't know. You can punch up IYT and find out their top 10 holdings. There's opportunity there maybe. That's systematizing. And Mission Winners, that's what we do. Hope you're all having a good weekend too, by the way. Regional banking, lagging, stay away. I mean, look at the selling here. Leave it alone. Nothing to do with it. Mid cap. There's a base. See, I've already got an alert set on this. Mid cap going across these tops right here. There you go. That's something to look into. What would that also tell us? That the rally's spreading out. How about that? Oil services lagging. Leave it alone. Pharmaceuticals, they're hanging in okay. Not too bad. Been pushing up just a little bit. QLD. NASDAQ 100. Do we own some NASDAQ 100 stocks? Yeah, we sure do. I can rattle off a couple of them here. Amazon, Meta, those are doing all. Microsoft, yeah, they're doing okay. And look, there you go. It's basing nicely. It looks good. It's leading, actually. QQQ, same situation, not leveraged. Retailing's acting good. You can look at some retailing stocks, and you could have for a while. Silver, do a compare and contrast. Oh, this is going up nicely. Oh, this is nothing. And it's been nothing for a while. Stay away from silver. It's tarnished. I'm sorry I had to say it. That's dad humor. My kids would shake their heads. Here we go. Steel, that's kind of lagging, not a lot of power there. SMH, semiconductors, has been doing okay. You could look at that a while ago, and it still looks good. Still trending nicely. Semiconductor technology. S&P 500, Spiders, has been acting good. We own a lot of the big stocks, and they're doing well. It's told us. Look into us. Same thing's true with SSO, leading. Solar. Look at the compare and contrast. S&P 500, oh, that looks pretty good. Solar, that looks pretty bad. And it has for a while. And what has it told us? Stay away from solar. Isn't that great? There's two sides on the coin. Look at both sides. It will guide you on where to go and what to avoid. That's why we do this at Mission Winners. Small cap still underperforming. Be careful with small cap. Oil, lagging. Leave it alone. Energy, leave it alone. Consumer discretionary is picking up a little bit, but here's one negative. By the way, I'm trying to get this to you without talking real slow so that it doesn't take up too much of your time, okay? I want to get the point across and move on for you. Consumer discretionary. The one negative is it fell on heavy volume here. Look at the selling volume, and it picked up, but not on a lot of volume. We'd like to see a little bit more power there in consumer discretionary and consumer discretionary stocks. Aerospace defense is lagging, leave it alone. Biotechnology is just basing, not a lot of power there. And again, be careful with biotechnology. Home building's hanging in there. We owned some home building stocks through this run right here. And that was a great run. That was a great run. This is just kind of basing right here. Maybe it'll take off again. But again, rising interest rates have a direct negative impact on home building stocks. Something to consider. Materials. How do you build houses? With materials. See the correlation? See the direct correlation? Not a lot of power there. Be careful with that. Communications is picking up pretty good here. That's nice. You can punch up XLC and find out what their top holdings are. And that would be a good study. And then look at the charts and say, oh, I see now why Pat does what he does. There were some stocks that were acting pretty good in this ETF. And it was pushing the ETF too. Isn't that neat? And it's not fancy. It's simple. It's conceptually correct. And I love it. Now, I'm going to back up here, though, and say one thing. This is extended now. Be careful chasing it up here. All right? Don't buy extended stocks. It's too risky. You're prone to a pullback. Energy, no power, leave it alone. Financials are acting decent. That's good to see. Industrials are acting decent. That's good to see. XLK's been acting okay. All right? Technology. Yeah, we're heavy technology. It's told us for a while, hey, you might want to look at some technology stocks. By the way, I love the MAXLIST, which will be another video that we'll be making this morning too. Consumer staples is acting decent. You could punch XLP up and find out, what do they own? There you go. Find some other leaders maybe. Healthcare is steadily grinding up, not bad. Consumer discretionary is picking up a little bit, not bad. Metals and mining, not a lot of power there. Stay away from it. Oil and gas, leave it alone. See the difference? Oh, that doesn't look too bad, right? Trending up. That's going okay. That's just basing, not a lot of power there. Oh, that's not so good. There's a great lesson right there for all of us. You got to be careful with it. Let's continue onwards. Retailing picking up a little bit, but still not a lot of power. But I will say, I do like the volume picking in here. There was serious selling on that bar. But it does say, maybe check into some retailing stocks. There we go. Continue onward. Software is just basing. It needs to show some real power through here. Okay? So now let's look at some of the stocks. Apple, you can say, well, there's nothing good here. I agree. And don't force it. Oh, maybe this is the bottom. We don't play the maybe game. We look for strength and confirmation of strength, and then we buy. And you'll see that in some cases. But right here, there's no power in Apple. Avoid it. Done. Amazon. Look at this move in Amazon. We own Amazon from down lower. back in here, I do believe. And it's just been trending nicely on the weekly and the daily. And we just let it go. We've sold some into strength, okay, but we're in good shape. Now you can say, Pat, would you buy it up here? No, it was a big gap up and it's too extended. Maybe it will base for 4 or 5 days and then take off again. And that could be a potential entry spot. And trust me, if it does, the VIPs will know about it because I look at these every day. And this is owned, by the way. This is owned. We're just letting it work. Price alerts are set. We'll see what it can do. Alibaba, do a compare and contrast. We buy strength. There's no strength. There's strength here. There's no strength here. Leave it alone. Oh, maybe this is the bottom. I don't want to play the maybe game. I want to stack. I've got a limited amount of money and a limited amount of time. I want to go where it's going, where the money's going, where there's strength. There's nothing there, leave it alone. BIDU, same situation. There's nothing there, just leave it alone. Google gap down right here. This is why you've got to know earnings, folks, earnings dates and things like this. This is a kick right here. This would kind of hurt. Always be careful owning a large position into earnings. That is why at Mission Winners, we have a tactic I have used since the last century: sell some into strength. Not all of it, sell some. See that big gap down on heavy volume? There's not really much to do with this at this point in time. Just leave it alone. Continue onwards. Goldman Sachs is basing. It doesn't look too bad on the weekly or the daily. But notice this tail bar here where it ran up and gapped down, and then you get a tail bar here. What does that tell us here and here? That there's a seller up there. And what does that tell us? Be a little cautious. So far, it's not exhibiting a lot of strength and power, is it? And it went up on Friday, but not that great a volume. So we need to see some power in that before you consider it. Continue onwards. Intel, stay away. That's it. You say, well, let's see if maybe it'll bounce. No, there's nothing here, and it fell on really heavy volumes below the fallen 50-day. Leave it alone for right now. It may straighten up eventually, but for right now, money's not going there. Look at the weekly. That's serious selling. Just leave it alone. Isn't it great? This is what I love. We can narrow our focus on what to look for because it looks good, and we can also narrow our focus by things that don't look so good, and we take it off our list. There we go. MasterCard lifted through these tops right here, and it's working pretty good, okay? Volume's decent, but don't buy it up here. But you can see the base, the little shelf right there, and volume came into it here. There you go. Let's continue onwards, but don't buy it here. I wouldn't do it. Meta, we own Meta from down lower. And here's a couple of spots on the daily. And we've let it work. I mean, yes, have we sold some into strength? Yes. But look at the move. We'll call it 340 up to 470. That's great money. And it's a MAXLIST stock. And it had a clean base here. And it had a clean base here. I'll draw it for you. There you go. And it had volume on this bar right here. And it had volume coming into it here. And trends pay. So we're just letting it work. We lock some profits in. We'll let it work and see what happens. Well, this is something else that will help you for your health's sake. I encourage you, do not use bright background colors. If you're looking at a quote-unquote white screen or a really light screen all day, it's really hard on your eyes. High resolution, a black background, in contrast to these colors, it's much easier on your eyes. I'm not telling you what to do, but I want y'all to take care of yourselves too, just for what it's worth. Got to take care of our eyes. Microsoft, this was a great run for us. And it ran up, and they had earnings, and we sold the rest and locked it in, okay, for a great gain through here, all right? Now, it fell hard. It's coming back on less volume. We'll watch this. If this could base, maybe we'll buy it back. And people say, oh, maybe you shouldn't sell. You know what my response is? That's called investing through the rearview mirror, because it could have just kept on falling. And then you go, gosh, why didn't I sell? That's what we do. We manage them. We manage them accordingly. Maybe it'll base and form a base. Base and form a buy spot. We'll watch and see. Netflix is still owned from down lower. They had some down here, and it's working. We held into it. Nice gap up here. I would love this to base a little longer and then take off. And that could be a new buy or an add-on, but we're in good shape with it from the buys down lower. Down lower. And it's working. Continue onwards. NVIDIA. I made videos on this and I talked about this with the VIPs extensively, and I even mentioned it on the big Twitter feed. Note the base. Look at the weekly base. I said, hey, that's what you're looking for. Pushing through around 505. That could be a good buy. Look at the volume pickup on that bar. And it ran. We've sold a couple times, but we're up, over 155 points. I don't know about you, but I think that's pretty good. There it is. You just let it work. Trends pay. Note the trend up the 8 EMA. This stock has not closed below the 8 EMA for this whole move, folks. By the way, that is the 8-period exponential moving average. There's a lot of work in that moving average. And the research from Ed Sakota was a major catalyst for us working on this moving average. So there we go. Tesla, there's nothing there. Leave it alone. Don't overthink it. I'll go back. Oh, maybe it's going to, why play the game? There's strength in so many places. This is below the falling 50-day. Here is a great investing maxim for you. The air is better above a rising 50-day moving average. Sounds corny? It's the truth. Something to remember. Continue onward. Visa's grinding up. There's no really clean entry at this point in time, but it has been trending. And here's a good lesson. Trends up the 8 EMA, trends up the 21 EMA. I'm not saying buy it here, okay? But I like to give lessons too.
Thank you for watching the video. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit like. Maybe hit that subscribe button. We come up with new content nearly every day. Also, check out the videos on the right. YouTube recommends the one on the top, and the bottom one is something we thought you might enjoy. See you next time.